Next, Cameron Poole, number 4. Next, Jamie Stanford, number 11. AJ Fitzpatrick, number 24. And then number 45, Zach Gurecki. Now the roster for the UTA Movin Mavs. Number 1, Isaac Lipscomb. Number 3, Ito Skiri. Number 10, Michael Collins. Number 15, Jensen Blaine. Number 16, Nadav Minkum. Number 22, Rodrigo Linares. Number 33, Owen Lakey. Number 55, Jacob Gordon. And then now, here for our starters. Number 0, Dylan Mitchell. Number 7, David Chari. Number 13, Leonel Tamaki. Number 30, Keyshawn Hare. And then number 12, Carrington Miranda.
Well, one semifinal is set between Arizona and SMSU, the second semifinal in the men's NIWBT. Set to have half of the picture fulfilled here as the Warhawks of the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater come in as the number 7 seed in the country, and they are set to collide with the Movin Mavs of the University of Texas-Arlington. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Jeremy Lade, proud to be with you in Champaign, Illinois. Jeremy, one of these matchups that we were talking about beforehand, possibly an upset alert with the impressive manner that the Warhawks played in their matchup last night against Mizzou.
Yeah, the Warhawks have a lot of offensive firepower. They can score from the outside, inside, taking it to the basket. Very strong 7 seed and a lot for UTA to handle. This is going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, the Warhawks last night, 80-46 victory against Mizzou. And try to go on defense. They had it successfully on that last stride, and now on offense, inside for 2 goes a circle in and out of the rim from Stanford.
We see UTA going to pressure AJ, put as much pressure on as they can, and then Jamie Stanford with a layup that he's going to have to knock down. Offensive foul there from UTA, giving Whitewater another possession.
Carrington Mirandez on the first foul of the game for the Movin Mavs. He talked about in media day. Mirandez is another one of those powerhouses for the Mavs as this goes inside. First basket of the game from AJ Fitzpatrick, which is not a surprise to see that from the 3.0 junior.
Not a surprise at all, but if you're coaching over on the UTA sideline, you got to be a little bit upset. That's the #1 threat, getting that easy of a basket, starting the day off with an easy one.
Inside of the lane, looking for the angle. It's another one there that's in and out off of Carrington Mirandez.
Carrington had to put that shot up. He was still in the paint, but it's deeper than he wants to, so he had to shoot the basketball. That's good defense by Whitewater.
Caleb Roach took it initially. AJ Fitzpatrick yet again from the left elbow. He's got another 2.
We talked about Carrington having to put up the ball on the last one. That's a shot that AJ wants to shoot. Almost the same spot, but that's in his wheelhouse. That's the one he likes.
Moving Mavs team take it back down. This goes almost out of bounds. Melendez with the save. Swing this back over. Keyshawn Pear. Pear from distance off the glass and couldn't get it through the iron.
And this is UTA's first game on this court, first game of the tournament. We have an offensive foul on UW Whitewater leading to a turnover. UTA is going to get another look at this one. UTA also calling timeout. But as I was saying, this is UTA's first tournament of the game. First time on this floor. Whitewater was able to play last night, get a little bit of the jitters out. Maybe we're seeing a few jitters from UTA right now.
30-second timeout on the floor.
What would you say to that freshly injured veteran looking to get involved in adaptive sports?
I found my outlet through wheelchair basketball.
A lot of us are used to, having weapons in the military. Now at Formax, it's our new M16.
It's our new battle buddy. Once they find a chair that suits them, anything's possible.
When you understand
Awesome.
Back to action. The Movin Mavs called a timeout to settle down as they're facing a 4-0 deficit early on in the first period. And another foul. This will stay in. And the clock never started. The officials trying to get a determination here.
That was a good look at the defense for the Warhawks as they get this figured out. They were not going to chase Carrington over the top of that screen. So it'll be interesting to see if Carrington's willing to take this jump shot from outside the screen.
Back swap around. Pear will keep it in bounds. Seen that a couple times already from the Mavs where they're able to keep it in from going out on the side or baseline as that shot won't land.
Seems like that shot's a little bit outside of his comfort zone. Late in the shot clock, going to have to shoot that one. But Whitewater doing a good job pressuring, not giving anything easy to UTA.
If my count is right, that's about the fourth or fifth time that it's been an offensive foul going the other way. It's been evenly split by both.
Might be a little bit of adrenaline. Everybody's a little pumped up, putting yourself in places that you don't fit. And we're seeing the result of that with a couple of offensive fouls.
First foul, team second.
And you mentioned the Movin Mavs. This is their first game of the tournament. The top four seeds getting a first-round bye into the quarterfinals. Lower seeds having to play essentially wild card matchups to earn their way to the next round. Every team guaranteed 2 games here in Champaign, regardless of a win or loss, as that's going to go back in. The moment he touches it, it'll be a backcourt.
Turnovers for UTA, unable to make a basket yet at this point and not getting enough looks at the hoop. They have 2 or 3 turnovers already that are decreasing the amount of chances that they can score.
So Warhawks team entering into the tournament at 14-16. They were 9-14 in their collegiate record. Right now they have the momentum as that bounces off and gets rebounded by Melendez.
UTA with some solid defensive pressure of their own. You see that they're coming out in the basketball, whether it's 30 or 35 feet, making the pass longer and eating up some shot clock.
Back to the other side, another shot there. That lands and it'll get the Mavs their first points of the game. That'll be Keyshawn Pear.
And maybe an opportunity for UTA to take a deep breath. They see the ball go through the basket, relax and settle in their offense a little bit better.
Pear, the 2.0 junior from Woodville, Texas, getting it done. As this heads to the other side, a drain shot, Caleb Roach. Star freshman has been really great for the Warhawks this year.
Yeah, that was a set play for UW Whitewater. They ran a strong side with AJ and number 45, Zach, so it takes a lot of defensive pressure. They ran a double screen on the non-ball side with a great swing and an easy mid-range jump shot for him.
Scores table trying to make a correction here. Score now 6-2. Looks like they're still trying to sort things out here. Might be something with the basketball, actually. patch or some PSI in there. One of the odd stoppages you see in the game.
Yeah, we see someone with some gloves on. They must be cleaning up the basketball. They had something on there. One of those things that happens. It's going to work out in a team's advantage. You get an opportunity to chat about things without a called timeout. UTA talking about settling in a little bit, calming down a little bit. Whitewater with a couple of offensive turnovers. They want to talk about also settling down a little bit.
This Whitewater team led by Coach Jake Williams, squad of 14 players. And hard to believe there's only one senior on this roster in Cameron Poole. So a lot of youth with the Warhawks.
Yeah, and great leadership. When you talk about Jake Williams, he's a 3-time Paralympic gold medalist. He can hoop and doing a great job running that program. On the other side, you have Aaron Googe coaching the UTA Mavs, also a Paralympian and a great ball player. So it is really exciting in the world of wheelchair basketball to see these players come up and have a positive impact on the growth and development of wheelchair basketball.
And I was talking with Mike Frogley about this in our earlier contest where we had more information available on the players. There were at least 2 or 3 on several of the teams that got tryouts for the 2025 Paralympic team, and it just speaks to a testament of the intercollegiate division and how great it is this year.
Yeah, absolutely. The majority of the teams are going to have plenty of their athletes or a handful of their athletes trying out, whether it's the men's USA team or the women's USA team. The college program is a great place to develop as an athlete.
That shot won't land. The rebound there from Gorecki, freshman from New Lenox, Illinois. He's also another one of the star freshmen for the Warhawks. They lead the Mavs now by 4, almost led by 6.
Defensive strategy is going to play a big part in this game. We see UW Whitewater staying under on Carrington, number 12 for UTA. And we see number 0 for UTA with a nice bank shot clean off the backboard.
Yeah, that's Dylan Mitchell, sophomore, who all the players that were a part of Media Day for the Mavs, in Lipscomb and Shakuri and Melendez, they were all in agreement. He's one of the most underrated players on this Mavs roster. And their sentiment showing true on that shot. His attempted backhander by Caleb Roach is no good.
Yeah, he plays in a Class 1. Classes go based on the amount of function you have when you're sitting in your wheelchair. Class 1s tend to have the least amount of function, and the way he plays, his ability to score is really unique for a Class 1.
Well, the 2.0 junior and pair banks another 2-shot as we got a 30-second timeout coming here for the Warhawks here in Champaign.
Year after year, from every corner of the globe.
From Toulouse, Luxembourg, Sydney, Monte Carlo,
Dubai. People come together to run for those who can't. A run for everyone, where the finish line chases you. On May 4th, watch the world unite again to find a cure for spinal cord injuries, one step at a time. The Wings for Life World Run 2025.
Back to action. Tied at 6 halfway through the first quarter. From the left elbow going up for the shot, it goes short. As A.J. Fitzpatrick, the junior from Cedar Rapids, another one of those players in our discussions beforehand. And you never want to say that a team is solely on 2 or 3 players, but when you talk about the combination of Gorecki, Fitzpatrick, and Roach, they're very dangerous. And even with shots like that made by Tomoki, it's a deadly triple combination on the floor.
Yeah, and credit to A.J. Fitzpatrick. He's a Paralympic gold medalist, went to Paris. You don't get to that level without being a phenomenal basketball player. UTA knows that. They got to be pressuring him.
Yeah, a lot of these athletes on the floor were fortunate enough in their young and promising careers to head to Paris for the 2024 Paralympics. As that shot will be rebounded and drained by Fitzpatrick, the Paralympian.
That's an interesting set for Whitewater. We see UTA bringing 3 defenders the whole time over by AJ and Zach Gorecki. It's going to be interesting to see if Whitewater can make the UTA defenders pay for not having enough defenders over on that weak side.
Going up for 2, off the glass pair.
UTA seems to be settling in nice. They look very calm. They're looking very relaxed after a little bit of a frantic start.
And Keyshawn Pair during Media Day is teammates said that he was the best dressed on the team. Didn't get a chance to check his fit check before the game, but very complimentary of him on the fun question side of Media Day.
I'm assuming that means he has a strong shoe game these days. That's the best dress, right?
Deep toss in the area there for Melendez. Couldn't land the shot there. Usually Melendez makes those ones. You were talking about how the Mavs are really going to run through Melendez among other players.
Yeah, that's a tough one because that's an easy two. And you talk about a momentum builder. You can miss that two on that side. Whitewater didn't knock it down on this side, but you're talking about a 4 or 5 point shift on those.
And the momentum has seemed to shift in favor of the Mavs, even with that shot not being made. Follow-up, no good off the glass. Mavs lead by 2. And stoppage for jump ball.
Carrington not able to knock down that previous layup, going through the middle of the paint on that one. Gonna need to take a deep breath, settle in, not let one mistake lead to a second mistake, and know that he have the confidence in his ability and his training to knock that shot down. We're looking at a pretty standard offensive set. This is what Whitewater likes to run. We're gonna see AJ and Zach Gorecki on the same side. And again, oh, unfortunate turnover. We don't get a look at their offensive set because just a miscue there.
We were mentioning in the 8 a.m. game, there were some mistakes that happened like that. And certainly hope in a national stage that those are cleaned up as the game progresses. About 2.5 left to go in the opening quarter, and we got a foul going the other way.
We could say UTA not happy about that call. It's a little bit soft on the offensive foul call, but the athletes are going to have to make an adjustment. That might be how they call it for the entire game.
And Mike was mentioning on the earlier side that the officials are calling things very tightly and trying to set the standard early on as the rest of the teams go through remainder of this weekend.
These officials have been calling collegiate games all season too, so these athletes are used to these officials.
Caleb Roach, freshman, gets it done again. 2.0 from St. Joseph, Missouri.
Great look on the weak side. Instead of settling for the jumper, drive to the basket. Nice, easy layup for him on the baseline spot.
Movin Mavs trying to respond, tied at 10. That one won't go. Good rebound from Stanford. Sometimes with players, you have just that good positioning in the paint to get those rebounds. As Stanford keeps it in several passes, it'll get off and the shot won't land from Poole.
What great ball movement in transition. It started with a back pick, couple of passes that ended in a great look for Cameron Poole, not able to knock it down.
Dylan Mitchell. So we slung back around, another shot attempt there from Keyshawn Pear. And stays in bounds on the corner, but foul. Looks like Gorecki will be called for push.
The wheelchair is considered part of your body in wheelchair basketball. That instance, Zach Gorecki pushing his wheelchair and almost forcing the offensive player to go out of bounds. Referee catching him for that.
Seen a lot of good plays by both of these sides for keeping it in bounds, mostly by the Movin Mavs here, as that shot will go off of the rim off Pear. But you're seeing a lot of the Movin Mavs having awareness of where the basketball is and keeping it from going outside the boundary. 2 shots, Keyshawn Pear. It's usually been money early on, but had some struggles on those angles. Fitzpatrick almost loaded up for a 3. Will go inside. Fitzpatrick dump in for the 2. Follow up on Gorecki.
Yeah, and it all started with AJ Fitzpatrick taking a look at that 3, pump faking the 3. He brought the defense out. That allowed a pick to be set, and eventually the person setting that pick rolled to the basket.
I'll tell you, the Mavs have a rally crew, in essence, behind the scores table, really cheering for him. As this 2 gets banked in, Pear finds it.
Keyshawn Pear for 2.
Final 10 seconds of the first quarter, 12 all in this tight game. Going for the 3. It's good! Caleb Roach from the top of the key. 5th 13-12. The Warhawks on upset alert against the Movin Mavs here in Champaign.
Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I say that we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance.
We gon' run this town.
Action, second quarter, beginning here in Champaign. 15-12, the Wisconsin Whitewater Warhawks leading by 3 over the Movin Mavs.
How you end quarters is a big part of being successful, especially when we talk about having 4 quarters versus 2 halves. Knocking down that 3 at the end of the first quarter, such a huge shot for Whitewater.
And that might be a huge shot for Rodrigo Linares, the senior from West Columbia, Texas, trying to get the Mavs on their motivation. And it's actually a rally crew, so you mentioned it's AJ Fitzpatrick's cousin and all of his boys who are cheering here for the Warhawks. As this goes back inside, a 2 attempt there, no good.
So UTA didn't bring the help over there on Jamie Stanford. I don't know if that's part of the game plan, like they want to trail him, but nonetheless, Jamie Stanford has to knock down that wide open layup.
They'll swap it back around. Shakuri, grad student from Israel. Dump inside, another 2-point and a good floater for Linares.
Very similar plays for Whitewater and for UTA, but UTA able to knock down that layup, whereas Whitewater was unable to knock down the layup.
Going up for the 2-pointer, a good shot from AJ Fitzpatrick. Might be a sign of him heating up.
And if you were watching closely, UTA had 3 defenders to stop AJ and Zach. So even with that extra defender, AJ still able to score.
Mavs, as they've usually done, they've slung it back around. Shakuri will settle for the pass. And the shot won't go. And that's one of the things Ito Shakuri talked about in media day, of that he was just very thankful and fortunate that he had this whole dream of being able to play wheelchair basketball and to continue to play at this level, and to mention how grateful he is to be with the Movin Mavs as that shot rims out.
Yeah, a lot of great stories in the college division, men's wheelchair basketball, women's wheelchair basketball. We're here talking about sport. We all love sport. We're in the process of getting their degree, planning out the rest of their life. Really a lot of just fun stories we can talk about.
Corey to the right side. This will sling back just inside the paint. A good one from Shadari.
That's a good sign for the Movin Mavs. Haven't been able to hit on that shot. They've had a couple of attempts, so it's nice to see him find the touch and find the range.
Good breakaway opportunity in stride. Trying to go for the shot. Couldn't get it to land, but a great chance for Zachary Gorecki. Seen that a couple of times throughout the tournament, where you have these breakaways and finishing being the key, as that is another right on cue moment of finishing not happening from Melendez.
We saw Zach struggle a little bit yesterday with some of those close layups. Hopefully he starts to find his range. Again, we see Carrington struggling a little bit. Everybody just needs to settle in. It's a shot they've all shot a bunch of times.
Caleb Roach slung back out. Fitzpatrick will drain it.
That's a great job from Caleb Roach. He hung on to the basketball long enough to make the defender slide over and stop him, and then at the last minute was able to get it to AJ and got him a wide open look.
I tell you, the camera shots we're getting on that rally crowd on the backside are incredible. A lot of support shown here for the Warhawks. 2-point shot, another one that rims out, gets a second opportunity, can't land it. Third one, but this time the shot made by Shadari after Melendez couldn't drain it after 2. This is a back and forth game thus far. You would not think this would be a number 2 versus number 7 game, but as we know, with it being March Madness, no matter what basketball team you have on the court, it's 0-0 when you start out in the tournament. And right now the Warhawks 1-0 after their victory against Missouri last night, as you got another one from Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick just going one-on-one. Didn't have any picks, just beat his defender one-on-one. Didn't even beat him, got to 14 feet and decided to post him up. He's just that good.
Looked almost like it was going to be a chance for 3 from Shakuri. Might have loaded up as he's got the outside wing, but he'll settle to go back. He will fling it there, but it's 2 shots inside the arc.
That is a really long 2, and it was fading away. That is a tough shot.
You also didn't see any complaint to the official about that from Shakuri as well. He knew fairly well he was inside the arc. Fitzpatrick weaving inside and a foul.
That's going to be part of the defensive pressure that UTA has to put on. You got to stay clean with your chair. They're putting so much pressure towards AJ. It was too much pressure, and they got called for the defensive foul.
Foul on Carrington Miranda.
And Melendez called for the foul. As Fitzpatrick dumps it off, 2 points for Stanford.
AJ Fitzpatrick taking a lot of defensive attention. Jamie Stanford able to get the reward at the end of that.
And as much as we talk about how good AJ Fitzpatrick is, you love seeing the unselfish basketball and having those moments of dumping it off. You're seeing the same thing from Melendez for UTA as this goes over for Shakuri's shot, no good. But you're seeing a lot of unselfish basketball being played here.
Yeah, absolutely. Basketball is a 5-on-5 game, and you need everyone to contribute.
Fitzpatrick for 3.
It always helps when you have someone that's contributing from the deep ball too. Fitzpatrick showing his full bag of tricks.
AJ Fitzpatrick for 3.
Puts the Warhawks up by 4. Can Shakuri match it? Yes, sir!
Ito Shakuri for 3.
One of those that looked like there was no doubt of it being inside of the arc. And the Warhawks will get a chance to regroup on the full timeout here in Champaign.
In 2 weeks from then, that's going to be Friday.
Back to action, 4:24. A 1-point lead for Wisconsin Whitewater over the Movin Mavs of Texas-Arlington. Inside, AJ Fitzpatrick on the left elbow. That one goes far and outside and will head out. It's head the other way.
AJ put himself in a spot where he was either going to have to pass or shoot that one. He didn't have anyone that was open. He was in the paint, so he had to put a shot up. Very contested, difficult shot.
Just outside the lane, it's Linares who will take it up. Dump inside, going for the 2-pointer. It's good. In the lane, Shadari.
For 2.
Shadari, the 4.0 grad student from Lennar, India. Lands it there. AJ Fitzpatrick finds an outlet just past the left elbow, but dumps it off last second. And again, we talked about this unselfish basketball and great awareness to get it to Stanford for the 2.
If UTA is going to put that much pressure on AJ, they're going to have to bring a third defender over because they gave up wheel position. Jamie Stanford knocking down the great layup after an awesome pick.
Linares over to Mendez, had to spin around to get back possession of the ball. Right side, Shakuri. Dump inside. Shadari for 2 again. He might be the player that they're starting to feed to going down the stretch.
And Whitewater knew this ahead of time. They know they had to protect the paint. They have to limit the amount of easy looks. Coach Williams can't be happy about that one. Feel like he got a little bit of momentum going, and you let him get in the paint for an easy deuce.
Got another foul here that'll result in a throw in on the baseline.
Foul on Isaac Lipscomb, his first,
Lipscomb called for the foul.
team third.
And you notice how the Warhawks have not committed a foul in this second quarter either.
Correction, second.
2 fouls for the Mavs as this one goes in and out, but a good rebound opportunity capitalized on by Gorecki.
And not committing a foul isn't always a good thing. Sometimes it means you're not being aggressive enough. We talk about protecting the paint. Maybe they got to be a little bit more aggressive with their wheelchairs. And if they get a foul, so be it, but try a little bit harder to protect that paint.
Yeah, it seemed like from the Mavs, they just had a lot of open passes inside. It's also credit to the great reach they have. As Shakuri for 2, it'll bounce out.
Surprisingly, he was hesitant on that. He had the 3. I thought he should have taken the 3 after knocking down the last 2.
Speaking of threes, Fitzpatrick wide. Shakuri with the rebound. And a foul still in possession to the Mavs.
A.J. Fitzpatrick 3 there. Felt a little bit rushed, didn't get into their offensive set. That might be more of a heat check 3 than it is like running your half-court set 3. We see UTA with a back pick right now. Caleb Roach is behind the Movin Mavs, and we're going to watch the Mavs attack with a 5-on-4. We'll see if they get a good look here.
Shakuri with a good look. That goes high, but a great follow-up to bank it in, Shadari.
I'm not sure if that was a shot or a pass or a shot attempt because he didn't want a 3-second violation, but it worked out.
Yeah, those 3-second violations have been called a lot more tightly in this tournament than the regular season, as that one bounces in and out. Deep pass in the lane. Couldn't get the better of the defender. Great awareness by Caleb Roach, but they're still going to keep it in possession of the Mavs.
That is a frustrating pass if you're a coach. You look at the height difference in that area and the margin for error. They put it in the basic one spot that you couldn't put it. Just put it higher and deeper, and you got 2 points.
Toss it deep on the right wing. Shakuri will try to set up the play. Got 10 seconds on the shot clock as once again the reach, Shadari just can't be stopped.
Really finishing well, too. Didn't start the game finishing a couple of those layups, but UTA sticking with the game plan, knowing he's going to be able to knock that down, having so much reach.
Gorecki will settle for it himself. Almost looked like a shot, but ended up being a pass to Fitzpatrick. From the free throw line, a whistle going back the other way.
AJ really showing that he can do a little bit of everything there. He got rid of the ball, but what he did when he got rid of the ball is he went and set 2 picks. And then Gorecki unable to deliver the basketball, but AJ showing that not only can he score, he can pass, but he's also setting picks.
Final 50 seconds of the first half. Movin Mavs lead by 3. And they faced a deficit as large as 4 throughout this contest. Melendez for 2 off the rim.
And we talked earlier about how you end quarters, how you end halves is going to be a big deal. It'll be interesting to see if Whitewater can generate a good hoop here at the end of the half.
Mismatch on the shot clock, so they will have to go for an attempt. Fitzpatrick loses the ball, but still in possession of the Warhawks. You wonder, both teams have 4 and 3 timeouts. It's like both sides content with keeping the action going, like the momentum they're seeing. For the pass in, they get it off to Gallagher. Fitzpatrick, 14 seconds, it's 5 on the shot clock. This will go around. Gallagher banks 2.
Gallagher coming off a big game yesterday, scored 24 points in their initial tournament and showing he still has the touch.
And shot off before the buzzer, but way wide from Rodrigo Linares. Well, the number 2 team in the country is leading by 1, but they've been on their heels throughout the first 20. 33-32. The Mavs lead over the Warhawks. You're watching the 2025 NIWBT. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.
My name is Maureen Gilbert. I am the coordinator of the Office of Campus Life, and I have been here for 30 years. Well, in my role as the program coordinator, I do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. So like their NWBA registration, their academic eligibility compliance checks, travel arrangements, and scheduling. But I also get to meet with the athletes one-on-one or in small groups just to make sure they are adjusting well to campus, that they are managing their classes and their workout schedule. And I'm available to just listen, guide, and connect with them as necessary. So my favorite part of my role is to watch the students grow and become great humans and succeed academically and athletically. They, do amazing things, our student athletes, and then when they graduate, they go on and do even more amazing things as alumni. Our alumni are out there still coaching, they're playing, they're working with community programs, always paying it forward and always working with and advocating for persons with disabilities. My fun and outside of work, I like to work out, I like to read, and I like to bake. Fun fact about myself is someday I'm going to work for Disney in my retirement.
Push.
Go, Josh, go, hit it hard.
Come on, push.
There you go,
Push. So this is a pretty cool new collaboration between my lab, the Disability Movement Biomechanics Laboratory, the Department of Health and Kinesiology, and DRES, the Division of Disability Resources and Educational Services here on campus. This testing that we're doing today and with them is, it's pretty cool, pretty novel, in that we're doing some human performance testing with our wheelchair athletes on campus. For the first 3 weeks of this fall semester, we'll be having the men's wheelchair basketball student athletes, women's wheelchair basketball student athletes, and the men and women wheelchair track and road racing teams. We have basically kind of 4 tests or 4 stations that we have set up. One is for motion testing, so that's marker-based motion capture, so we put a lot of little reflective markers all over our athletes and we just track their motion. And what's important here is we're able to get really high accuracy and very precise measurements of upper body motion, which for manual wheelchair users and wheelchair athletes is really important. The other stations that we have, one is strength testing. So unlike in a weight room, a conventional weight room, where you're just lifting weights, that's important too, but here we're actually able to put high accuracy and precise values, measurements with that. Our third station is musculoskeletal ultrasound, so we're scanning the right and left shoulders of the rotator cuff tendons. And also in that station, we're doing body composition scanning, where we're getting measures of their percent body fat, percent lean mass, and also some measures of percent bone mineral content, which we can use to estimate bone health as well. And then the last station, we're asking them to fill out some surveys and some questionnaires related to shoulder health, function, quality of life, a lot of different kind of bigger picture items related to their overall health and wellness. And so we used those data, those responses from them to kind of associate those with some of the data that we're seeing in the other stations to have a better big picture understanding of these individuals and of their shoulder health overall.
Physically, like me on the outside, like I'm like pretty muscular, not in my hoodie, but it was just cool to see like ultrasound, for example. You could like get in there and like see your actually the fibers of your muscle. Like it was pretty cool to see like that kind of stuff. But it was cool to see like the way like athletes see themselves like on the outside, but also like on the inside.
I mean, the risk in general of injuries is pretty high just from like the strain that you're going through all the time. And I mean, it's hard work, especially in the shoulders, and also like your elbows and your wrists and everything are getting constant work, so much more than the body was built for. I think I'm interested in like the progression over time, how the way your muscles and tendons and all that just kind of evolve through how the time that you spend like exercising, or the different variables in your health. I mean, I just want to see how those things change throughout your time, yeah.
We were real excited when Dr. Hanks came to campus because he had that experience with wheelchair athletics, and we wanted to bring that into the university wheelchair athletics. His research that he's doing, it will give me information to be able to look at it and say, okay, someone's having this type of injury, this is what the research results came back with, and see if there's a relationship between that.
So like the ultrasound scans that they were using today is very basis on like preventative measures, like seeing how the body is reacting as a way to diagnose something before it actually becomes an issue. So if we had these scans as a baseline test their freshman year, and then we had them every year, maybe we start to pick up on something that would normally develop that we wouldn't know about, but now we have technology that we can pick up on those earlier on. Just having this testing here on campus is going to be astronomical to what it does to our programs. We already have dozens of athletes representing a variety of countries in the Paralympics right now, and what is this going to do to bring in even more on campus?
So I think I'm just excited for where this can go. Like if you look at our theme and our motto as wheelchair athletics, we're creating the best human beings as a whole. We're not just looking at a student athlete from the athlete part of things. We're looking at how are we going to help set you up, not only while you're here, but for the rest of your life to be in the best shape you can be, to live the best and fullest life that you can live.
My job here at DRES as an access specialist is to work with our student athletes to make sure that they have access to academic accommodations. So those are unique to each student. It could be things like additional testing time, a distraction-reduced environment to take tests. Maybe it's with getting transportation to and from your classes, late arrivals, things like that. I also work with students for housing accommodations, making sure that their dorm rooms are accessible and that they have whatever they need, just sort of in general access needs in their living situations. And then I also work with students one-on-one. I help sort of navigate the whole university experience, kind of helping them figure out things with classes, making sure they're staying on top of their work, and overall just making sure that they're successful here in the academics side of things. I think the favorite part of my role would be watching the students that I work with be successful. A lot of times I work with the incoming student athletes a lot, especially in the first semester that they get here, to really make sure that they have the supports that they need. And so when I see them being successful in both their academics and athletics, it's kind of a really nice thing to see, and it motivates me to keep working with the students. What do I like to do for fun outside of work? I have a dog, and so he takes up some of my time, so I'll go for walks with him. I love reading, and I'm pretty boring. I'm like an old person, so I don't do a whole lot. Fun fact about myself is that I am a certified scuba diver. I just recently got my Dive Master certification this past summer. I've been diving for 18 years. My favorite place to go diving is the Cayman Islands.
From harnessing the transformative power of computing and data sciences, to discovering new ways for environmental and agricultural sustainability, to opening new pathways for better patient care and medical discovery using AI. At Illinois, we develop and deliver ideas that positively impact the world.
We welcome you back to the NIWBT for 2025 men's bracket. Continuing on, this quarterfinal decides the other side. Arizona and SMSU already set to face off tomorrow. Winner of this game will face off against either Alabama or Illinois. As we start out with a three. How about the freshman Caleb Roach and what he's been able to do through this entire game?
Making his mark on this game, coming out, showing that he's not afraid of the big moment. Huge three to start out the second half.
I tell you, it's a shame that we don't have statistics on standby for Whitewater, because I guarantee you that Roach's three-point metrics are up there as a follow-up shot. Can't get the height on it, but does draw the foul. Not in time for the shot.
It's less about the foul in that situation and more about the positioning. Whitewater has to make sure he doesn't get to that spot, because you're going to lose the battle. Has so much reach, chair positioning, letting him get there has to be the battle.
Foul is drawn, but the ball goes loose and a chance on a breakaway. The star freshman, Zachary Gorecki, inside. Yes, sir!
Zach Gorecki for 2.
Whitewater starting out the half strong. First a 3, then getting a turnover that leads to a transition bucket on a quick run for Whitewater.
Whitewater was down by 1 at a score of 33-32. Mavs remain scoreless here in the second half. And that'll change right now with Shadari banking it in.
Again, it's got to be more of a fight to keep him off of the spot that he wants to get to. That's in his range, got a ton of reach. When he gets there, you're in trouble. You got to prevent him from getting there.
Fitzpatrick trying to dance around inside. He's going to go for the second shot, and it rims out. Moving Mavs back on possession as they try to send it back down. Shakuri, dump it down, a chance for Shadari with 2. Too strong, but the follow-up also too low. And we got a jump ball. The possession arrow keeps it with the Mavs.
Both of those shots for the Mavs coming in transition, looking like they're just kind of throwing it up towards the rim, not focusing, not trying to finish. Not sure if they're trying to draw the foul or not, but missed opportunity for UTA there.
Shakuri for 2, easy money.
Defensive pressure, none from Whitewater. Whitewater looking like they're okay giving up that shot, even after he hit a couple of threes against them in the first half.
Almost felt like the defense was looking at Shakuri as this 3 doesn't go. Almost looked like they were feeling he was going to try to weave around or pass it or set up a play, which shows you the dangerous threat that the graduate student at 4.0 has. And from outside the lane, again, the reach of Shadari, you just can't stop it if you're the Warhawks.
And they have 3 Whitewater defenders sitting around him. They're actually still sitting around right now. They're going to try and backpick him. But 3 isn't enough because it's not going to make you any taller. You have to stop him from getting into the paint.
Back from the left elbow, Warhawks try to weave it around again. Mavericks are back on top by 2. Too high of a pass intended for Roach, but he does keep it in play. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Fitzpatrick will load up, go for 3 himself. Got it off of the rim to save, but rebound there by the Mavs in Medichim.
Inaccurate pass kind of led to having to force that 3. Caleb having to chase down a loose ball, and AJ having to shoot 3 at the end of the shot clock.
Shot from the half circle, foul. Ruled on the floor, no shot.
Dylan Mitchell in that spot, hanging out at the free throw line. No defenders near him. Could have knocked down that shot, but ended up trying to get it into the paint, where really UTA has been making it hurt is in the paint. So I like his decision making there to not settle for the jump shot and go for the easy layup.
30-second timeout here for UTA with 6:35 left in the third.
Something special for you guys, because getting your jerseys is a big deal. And especially for those of you, this is your first Illini jersey, it's a really big deal. Our theme this week and our focus this week is going to be legacy, okay? And talking about our own legacy as a team, as a program, and as individual athletes, what our legacy is. So that's kind of why we prompted you all to think about those things today, because we want to do something.
Matt, 6:35 left to go in the third. Mavericks from Texas-Arlington leading by 2. And interesting enough, the Mavericks have not committed a foul in this third quarter. As this will go and bounce around a couple of times, and another rebound there for the Mavs. That's Lionel Tomoki banking it in.
As we are seeing over and over again, basketball is a game of runs. Whitewater coming out hot to start the half. UTA having all the momentum right now.
But don't be surprised if you start seeing the Warhawks make a comeback here. This a young and scrappy team that had a good performance against Missouri last night and were leading against the Mavs as a foul is drawn.
The referee not calling any fouls in that spot. To me, it looked like Gurecki was going hard after the rebound, not having awareness of where his chair is, just chasing the basketball. Thought it could have been a chair foul on Gurecki. Either way, UTA with the ball.
Looks like Dylan Mitchell is going to check in here for the Mavs. The sophomore from Lancaster, I mentioned earlier, all the players felt he was the most underrated player for the team. Here's Shakuri. That one goes off the glass.
Substitution for the Warhawks as well. Patrick Gallagher coming in for Zach Gurecki. A little bit more of a low post presence.
Yeah, the 4.5 junior from Sussex, Wisconsin checking in as well as that gets swatted down and a foul.
Warhawks getting bailed out there. AJ's pass over to Caleb was significantly short. Basketball kind of batted around. UTA getting called for a foul. But Whitewater has to be careful with some of those swing passes that they're making.
Dump inside, looking for 2. He's got it. Dylan Mitchell. I beg your pardon, that's Patrick Gallagher with the 2.
Making an instant impact on the game, coming in off the bench with a 2-point basket.
And a chance to get it across. That was Dylan Mitchell who passed it in. And a foul drawn on the floor.
That's a good place to use the foul. AJ Fitzpatrick behind him, getting aggressive, going after it, and preventing a layup in that spot.
Especially since we talked about with Javed Chidari, the only way you're really going to stop him is either foul him or keep him out of the paint, and had to do the former there.
Chidari has been an issue for Whitewater. AJ using his chair to make him reset the play.
Mitchell, Bashkuri with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Dump inside. Chance there for 2. It's rebounded by Gallagher.
I like this sub for Whitewater. We saw how much closer Patrick Gallagher is to Chidari. Has a little bit more reach and challenge that shot. And AJ Fitzpatrick with the hoop and the harm.
The 3.0 junior from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, has just tied up the game for the Warhawks.
The concentration and focus it takes to do that. You're getting fouled on the inside. You know what's going to happen at the end of the play. You are hitting the ground one way or the other to keep your eye on the hoop and be able to finish. What a shot by AJ.
Chance for a 3-point play from Fitzpatrick. And he's got it. Warhawks have their lead back that they had earlier in the third. Movin Mavs trying to hold some of the players back on the other side. From just outside the right elbow, banked in Dylan Mitchell.
Dylan Mitchell showing his ability to score. We know he has that ability, but they haven't had to use it up to this point.
And a foul drawn.
Foul on Lionel Tamaki. His second, team third.
Roach with a high swing. Fitzpatrick will just dump it inside back to Roach. Another one of those dangerous players. And he'll settle it back. Fitzpatrick will sling it on and bounces in off the glass.
AJ Fitzpatrick for 2.
Mentioned earlier, don't be surprised that the Warhawks fight back. This is going to be a back and forth battle. It's very much what we've seen throughout this game as Mitchell will try to land it for 2, rebounded by the Warhawks.
Mitchell being left open in the exact same spot as the previous shot, unable to connect on that one.
As this gets dumped in, Gallagher And again, the reach of Shadari gets the better of the Warhawks. Curry from the left wing. Send it on the pass. Again, you just can't stop that reach of Javed Shadari. You just can't.
It's really impressive. He got into the paint on that situation not on his own. If you watch the Mavs, they're setting seals and picks to get him there. So when you look at it, yes, Shadari is scoring a lot of points, but it's a team effort to get him there.
Dump inside, trying to go for the shot. Foul. Gallagher will go to the line.
Foul on Lionel Tamaki, his third, team fourth.
Floater there from Gallagher.
Gallagher coming off a big game yesterday, scored 24 points against Missouri in their early rounds of the NIWBT.
And Junior can't land either of those free throws, but fortunately it's a rebound from Stanford. Couple of seconds left, inside for two, bang! Jamie Stanford.
And that was all set up by Caleb Roach. He took a look at the rim. He made the defenders react. At the last minute, he passed up and over the top to Jamie Stanford for an easy layup.
Now, how do the Mavs respond is the better question. Another one inside, trying to go for it to Moki. He'll get the rebound off his own shot and the basket. As the sophomore from Montreal, Canada, will be backpicked. Chance for Gallagher and company. Gallagher on the inside will go for the shot. He's got two.
Patrick Gallagher showing that he knows what his job is. When he gets in the game, he's going to be a low post presence. He's going to try and get him easy baskets. He's doing nothing but trying to get to the bucket and doing it well.
Winner trying to punch their ticket to the NWBA's version of the Final Four, as that shot goes off and is rebounded by Roach. Limited time to get it back over to the other side, but they managed to get it done. And trying to go in a foul, it's a charge.
Yeah, Cameron Poole was coming down, didn't have control of his chair, didn't make any effort to get away from the defender. I think the referee was right on that call, had a good angle for it. You have to make some sort of effort to avoid that contact.
Harrington Miranda's coming in, number 12, and Keyshawn Curry.
1:39 left to go in this third quarter. Whitewater leading by a score of 48-47. 5 fouls for Whitewater, so they can't foul again unless they want to force a bonus here in the final 90 seconds. 4 fouls for the Mavs, so they have 1 to give. Right side pair with the shot, it gets in.
A friendly roll. You can see Whitewater staying under, not necessarily pressuring, not concerned about him knocking down that shot, but the basketball had different ideas.
Roach, and a foul on the floor. Looks like they'll call Dylan Mitchell on the foul. Now the officials trying to get a clarification here on the foul count, and they did with the 1-on-1. Jamie Stanford. They actually give 2 shots. I believe we had that question in the last game where it was a question of whether it was 1-on-1 or 2 shots. And this one finds its way in, tied at 49. On the right wing. No basket, but Gallagher will go to the line for 2.
I don't know what your expectations are of a 2-7 matchup, but this is a heavyweight battle, going back and forth, both teams showing some strengths, both teams taking advantage of the other team's weakness. This is a great basketball game and what we're looking for March Madness.
Lionel Tomoki will bank in the first free throw. And we were talking about it earlier of the first day, a lot of one-sided competitions, but it just shapes up for really good competition, and we've seen that so far. We haven't had a bad game all day. The sophomore from Canada banks it in to give the Mavs a 2-point lead.
And I'll be keeping a close eye on that. He went 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Whitewater goes 1 for 2. You talk about free throws being the possibility of being the difference in a game.
Swatted away by Tomoki after banking his free throws, gets a good defensive stand.
And there's the other difference maker, is turnovers.
Tomoki couldn't bank it in. Whitewater fends it off. Fitzpatrick to Gallagher. Caleb Roach on the wing. You wonder when him or Fitzpatrick might try to get open for a three. It's a charge going the other way.
Foul on AJ Fitzpatrick.
And we got a substitution coming in. Looks like Gorecki is going to come back in.
AJ might be getting a little bit flustered, feeling like he's got to make something happen in that situation. Got caught trying to make too much happen. Offensive foul with the chair, way off the ball. Not a good spot for a foul.
No shot clock to worry about in the final seconds of the third. So Melendez and company, they could just drain out this clock for a shot at the end. But they won't settle for that. Melendez trying to go in and follows up on his own shot and one.
Carrington has been struggling to finish from the paint the entire game, and what a great time to find the spot. Not only knocking down the layup, but the foul to go to the free throw line. End of the quarter, we talked about how important ending quarters is.
Melendez will head to the line for one shot to make this a three-point play. It's a 5-point lead for the Mavs. Their largest of the game, as I might add. They'll send this back down. Stanford trying to get a quick generation there, hauling it to the net. That'll stay in play before time expires. 10 minutes left. We still got a good matchup between the Warhawks and the Movin Mavs here at the 2025 NIWBT. Minutes left in regulation in this quarterfinal game of the men's 2025 NIWBT bracket. Spencer Thompson, Jeremy Lade, Mr. Eubin running the production side of things here at the State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois. Here's a chance inside. Dylan Mitchell couldn't finish, but has the cleanup from Shadari.
Coming out of the quarter, UTA gets an and one basket. Then you start, or to end the third quarter they do, and then to start the fourth quarter, Whitewater with a turnover and a transition basket for UTA. Whitewater has to be composed, get a good look at this possession.
Back inside, shot does not go, and you're wondering if the Whitewater attack is starting to break down.
If you're coaching Whitewater, you're good with that shot. That's a good looking shot. You got to leave it up to your athletes to knock down those things. That's the ones you're working for.
But it doesn't help when Pear is draining those off the glass.
You know, I was thinking in the third quarter, momentum shifted so much, it went back and forth. right now here in the fourth, it feels very much leaning towards UTA, end of the third going into this. And Whitewater's going to have to find something to help the momentum go back in their direction.
Another attempt, another rebound for the Mavs. I tell you, this is where the number 2 seed is really starting to show up. Right on time, Fitzpatrick swipes it, trying to do it himself, but he'll pass it off at the last second and couldn't get the shot to drain. Jamie Stanford had a good opportunity, just an unlucky bounce. And here's a chance, Shadari will bank it in and gets the benefit of the bounce.
What a big swing right there. Whitewater gets a steal in transition, misses the layup. UTA moves the ball up for an easy 2.
Coach Goj is fired up. Coach Williams will call a full timeout to regroup.
Got folks that carry some can't cross state lines. Ducking cops in the dirt hills, baby. We ain't paying no fines. If you coming to the sticks, still maybe.
You hope that the Warhawks, Coach Williams and company are able to regroup and swing the pendulum in their favor after that timeout, as Roach will take it up. Maybe try to give Roach a couple of looks on the wing. Might be some threes or what they need. As that ball goes off of the glass, Gorecki couldn't get it.
You mentioned in between quarters or in our timeout about that danger zone, that danger territory. The lead starts to get so much, it starts to feel like you're not going to be able to come back. Whitewater really dancing on the edge of that right now.
And a 3-second violation. It's headed the other way. And Coach Goj not happy with that one, but agree to disagree from his expression. And a foul.
That's one of those fouls that you're happy about. A.J. Fitzpatrick, number 1 threat. Get a little bit aggressive on his chair. That's not the worst thing.
His fourth. Team first.
Baseline pass, Fitzpatrick. Go inside of the lane for 2, and that gets the deficit within single digits.
That's a big basket for AJ, but not only for AJ, but for Whitewater. To see one go through the hoop, they've missed a couple of pretty easy layups, keeping this thing still in striking distance.
30-second timeout here for the Mavs as Coach Goj wants to think it over. Coach Goj getting a chance to think it over. In his media availability, he actually started out with, he's talking about how this team is playing at a really high level and that he's seen great growth in the last couple of years, and was very aware of the rich history that the Moving Mavs have had and mentioned wanting to try to honor their history as that shot doesn't go in off of the glass from Pear.
Both programs with a really strong history.
Oh, yeah.
UTA been doing it for a long time. Coach Hayes had a lot of great leadership in that program. UW Whitewater been around a long time as well.
As this goes off the glass and rims, still loose, and go back over to the Mavs. And to think about it as well, we're in one of the birthplaces of adapted athletics and one of the monumental programs here at the University of Illinois. This gets dumped. Once again, another shot inside. The bounce does not go, and the Warhawks get it back. We were just talking about it at the break of how pretty much the Mavs are landing every shot, and that's 2 in a row they haven't been able to bank.
Well, we saw some nerves at the beginning of the game. Maybe we're receiving some nerves here at the end of the game.
Fitzpatrick gets it again. Score within 7. That's 6.5 left in the fourth.
UTA has to find the #1 threat coming down the stretch. You can't let number 24 for Whitewater be shooting layups.
Mitchell tried to dump off the pass, went off the hand of Shadari. And for all we've talked about with his reach being good, wasn't able to quite stretch out for that one.
Yeah, I don't think that's a lack of reach. I would think that's the accuracy of the pass in that situation.
He's not he's not Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
I almost said Mrs. Incredible because the wrote more recency, but as that ball goes off of the rim and back to the Mavs. Melendez off the glass and out and swatted away. Shadari will get it off of the glass. Another rebound by Fitzpatrick. And as great as we've talked about Carrington Melendez and how it usually runs through him, it's not. Had a relatively quiet game as Fitzpatrick will try to go up for 2. Almost got the ball back. Melendez got the rebound back and will sling it back. But Melendez really hasn't had to be as vocal.
Yeah, both teams playing at a really frantic pace here in the fourth. Feels like they're all trying to force the issues, which might be part of so many missed layups that we're seeing. One of the leaders on both sides has to take a deep breath, tell everyone to calm down, relax, focus on the finish. They're doing everything right to get the looks that they want. They're just not knocking down the layups right now, both sides.
Melendez with the switch. Mitchell, he's got it.
And that's exactly what we talked about. Carrington relaxed, half-court set, put the ball on the money to the shooter on the non-ball side, able to knock down the bank shot.
Trying to maneuver it around is Fitzpatrick. He's trying all he can to put his team in the position for success. Gorecki will get it in. 7-point difference at the halfway point in the final quarter. Mitchell. Back over to Pear. Deshaun Pear can't get it to land. I know usually on the offense the opportunities dictate, but you'd think you'd like to see Caleb Roach get opened up here for a couple of three-pointer opportunities as we have a whistle before the shot went off. Timeout called by Coach Williams.
That's a great timeout called by Coach Jake. He saw Caleb was in a tough spot. He had the basketball. Either a 3-second violation was going to happen or a bad shot was going to happen. Jake really saved the possession for him.
They got one timeout left to work with. You got 2 left for the Movin Mavs here down the stretch. 7-point lead. And one of these games that's definitely gone back and forth. And you were mentioning earlier, you'd love to see it, especially in the national tournament where you start having higher competition. You have a lot more tightly contested matchups. We saw that in that 4-5 matchup earlier to start out the day between SMSU. And it was just one of those where Auburn tried the comeback, especially down the stretch. And maybe we'll see that here from Whitewater.
Yeah, it's also fun to watch 2 teams that have 2 very different strengths. UTA really paint-oriented right now, getting some baskets, using the long reach, whereas Whitewater using the speed and athleticism of A.J. Fitzpatrick.
Dump inside, 2-point shot won't land. Another attempt by Fitzpatrick. Time now on the side of the Mavs at this point as Tomoki inside for 2.
Great job slowing down his pace, knowing that no defenders were coming his way. Took an extra second to focus up and knock down a layup.
Caleb Roach, the freshman, top of the key. He'll settle to go inside. He'll sling it back around.
UTA bringing 3 defenders over to that side, forcing the basketball to Cameron Poole. Cameron Poole making him pay from the top of the key.
Yeah, Cameron Poole getting in that shot as it brings us back to a 7-point difference. If you're the Warhawks, you certainly have to make these stops. The back pick attempted on Gorecki. Left side pair. Mitchell. And another shot from Pear is a floater. Fitzpatrick on the rebound.
Whitewater defense has to be happy with giving up that shot after spending a whole game of seeing them shoot from the paint.
Fitzpatrick for three. Couldn't get it to land. Great opportunity for the Mavs here down the other side. Melendez back.
Carrington Melendez for two.
A 9-point lead with 2:48 left to go in regulation. A trip to the semifinals tomorrow on the line. Another shot won't go. Mitchell on the rebound.
And there's still a lot of time in this game. Whitewater has to make sure they're taking advantage of the possessions, not forcing anything early. UTA is going to want to eat a little bit of clock in these possessions and really try and shorten this game up.
Another shot attempt. Tomoki couldn't get it to land, and this will go out. Last touch by the Warhawks. I tell you, if Fitzpatrick had landed that three, really would have gotten things going for the Warhawks.
Yeah, big opportunity, missed three. And then UTA obviously going in transition on the other end. So talk about a 5-point swing right there.
As you mentioned, the Movin Mavs just trying to waste time here. Melendez with the switch. 2-point shot finds its way in for Pear. It's now an 11-point lead.
That shot behind the screen's a little easier to hit when you have 5 seconds on the shot clock and you know there's no other options. Him shooting that with confidence, that's a big shot for UTA.
Right side, Roach. I tell you, we can see these players close up here on the floor as Fitzpatrick tries to go for three. Listen, Fitzpatrick, the amount of sweat he's covered in because of how much of a workhorse he's been. Shadari will try to recover it on the baseline, gets it in. 2-point attempt, Melendez. It's a whistle by the Movin Mavs, but you can tell Fitzpatrick's really been putting in the work for the Warhawks.
Chidari there showing off his chair skills down here to contest AJ Fitzpatrick 3 and not foul him. Did a quick chair spin and still able to contest and then chase down a long pass. Really showing off his chair skills right there. That was impressive.
From harnessing the transformative power of computing and data sciences to discovering new ways for environmental and agricultural sustainability, to opening new pathways for better patient care and medical discovery using AI. At Illinois, we develop and deliver ideas that positively impact the world.
.137 left to go in regulation, an 11-point lead for Movin Mavs over the Warhawks of Whitewater. You can look around this crowd and you see that players from both the Alabama Crimson Tide and Illinois Fighting Illini are all in anticipation, wondering who they might face off against in the second round as that goes in and out of the rim.
That's a little bit early in the shot clock if you're UTA. We see AJ Fitzpatrick with the offensive foul. That makes it really difficult to cut into this lead when you don't get a shot at the hoop.
AJ Fitzpatrick with the foul, his fifth.
And that will be the end of the day for AJ Fitzpatrick, which you hate to see it. Every team guaranteed 2 games as well in the tournament, so this would be the final game for the Warhawks.
Timeout, Whitewater.
And Whitewater is going to call a timeout and likely rotate their other players in with a minute 20 left in regulation.
In 2 weeks from then, that's going to be Friday.
Minute 20 left to go in regulation. As this gets back over to Dylan Mitchell.
This has been a phenomenal 2-7 matchup. Whitewater coming in as a 7 seed, but giving UTA as much resistance as possible. Really played a great basketball game today.
Yeah, the Warhawks came out swinging, trying to make some noise and shake up some brackets here in the tournament. But the Movin Mavs showing why they're the #2 team in the country.
Whitewater just not able to force UTA to shoot enough difficult shots. Just way too many from in the paint.
We mentioned it earlier, how coaching staff for the Movin Mavs expressed how they were playing at a really high level. Guys like Isaac Lipscomb, who was available for Media Day, felt very confident in this tournament. Welcomed any of the he felt like he was also welcomed with open arms heading into this program. And even Melendez, who is controlling the ball now, he mentioned that felt like he meshed with the team really well and felt as well that it was important to lean on each other. And you're seeing that from this Movin Mavs team.
Yeah, you can tell by the way they play. They have a lot of trust in each other. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and that's from spending time together, practicing together, working together, and making sure it's all quality time that they're spending.
Final seconds expiring, 13 left in regulation. This over on the right wing. And it'll just be possessed by Pear, and they'll air it out here. Well, the Warhawks tried to shake things up after their great win by Mizzou last night, but the Movin Mavs of Texas-Arlington are moving on to the semifinals.
What a great game. Like I said, that 2-7 matchup had the feel of a heavyweight fight. Both teams throwing punches, momentum shifting several times. UTA coming out on top at the end of this one.
Well, that's gonna do it for this quarterfinal. You got one more coming up between Alabama and the Fighting Illini. For Jeremy Lade, our producer, Sir Euban, all the hard work you men and women to make this run so smoothly. I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long from Champaign. The Movin Mavs of the University of Texas-Arlington headed to the semifinals.